episode 74. Hello everyone and welcome to Wolff&Schafe podcast. My name is Magdalena and this is my little kitty co-host Damarat. Yeah. We have a Monday today, October the 30th of 2017. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I know it's been a while, so I'm again very grateful that you came back. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, sewing and other creative things going on in little town of Addisville, near Zurich in Switzerland, where I live with my husband Gleb and our little son Stasio. So, as I mentioned, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry under my full name, which is Magdalena Wolff with double F. And the show notes appear usually here in the down bar, and helpful links can be found in the video description here on YouTube. As I said, it has been a while, 3 weeks, no podcasting, and unfortunately I have to say it might happen again, or that the podcast might be less regular from now on. There has been a lot of going on in our lives, so simply, it's possible that the podcast will be less regular. But again, thank you so much for spending some time with me every time, and I'm very grateful for that. So I have some finished object to show you. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen already that my oracle shawl is ready and it's glorious. Honestly, I'm in love with this shawl. And it's so comfy. Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. I already wore it to a trip and it was very comfortable. It was a bit colder out there because it was a bit higher in the mountains. We went to an open air museum with interesting old houses from different parts of Switzerland put together in one huge open air museum. And it really kept me warm. It was wonderful. So again, this is Oracle by Kristin Leder from Wool and Vine Yarns and Yarngasm Podcast. Hi Kristin! And this is my hand-dyed yarn, Wolff&Schafe Divana, which is a single ply 100% superwash merino and finger and weight. And this red lovely color is Seeing Red. This blue is Yozora and the pink is Harmony. So let me do some close-up for you. So this is how it looks like. It's just amazing. Oh, look how the red blows the colors. Oh my goodness. And love. It's pretty cold recently in our apartment. I mean, usually it's like sauna in our apartment, but these days I don't know, they didn't decide to turn on the heating system yet or what, but it feels really nice. And a cup of tea. Don't you love my cup of tea? I mean my teacup. It's just so pretty. I really couldn't resist. In our supermarket, it's called Migros. Here in Switzerland, they tend to have this every couple of weeks they put something seasonal, and usually there is some cups and other ceramics, and they are usually so beautiful. For example, I bought also my Kraken saucer there. But I'm digressing. It's just so yeah, it's peach fruit and peach flowers, but it's on black. How original is that? It's just beautiful. And I have this together. Yay! Anyway, coming back to this gorgeous shawl, what I wanted to say is that it uses up almost all of the skeins of yarn. This is basically how much yarn I have left after completing the shawl. The other color, the third color, Harmony, I ran out of about, give or take, 200 stitches from the end of this section. And I was like, huh, what do I do now? And of course, I could have dyed myself another skein, but I cringed at the thought of using really not too much yarn from this one skein, and then what? So I just thought, well, if it's not even one row, it's a part of one row, because by the end you had like over 1,100 stitches. So 200 stitches is really a small part of one round, which is this tall, right? So I thought I will just replace this part, with some scrap yarn that I have that is more or less similar, and nobody will notice. So that's what I did. I have this really not very presentable yarn. It got a bit tangled. But yeah, these are my leftovers from knitting socks for my dad. And this is Wolff&Schafe paw, so my sock yarn, in All Saints Day colorway. So I simply use this yarn, and you cannot tell. You really can't. Maybe if you really looked close, you would see some of the blues there. But since it has speckles on its own anyway, you cannot tell. And then, my first ever I-cord bind off. It took me some time. I think it was like a few days, few evenings. But yeah, it's worth it. It's really lovely and actually enjoyable. It was my first ever time with this technique. I mean, I did I-cords before, but never an I-cord bind off. But it was totally okay, and looks really nice and pretty, and yeah. So I'm on this Instagram chat group with some of Warsaw knitters. We use this group sometimes to make the appointment to meet up, and sometimes just to chat about knitting or other stuff. And I was like, okay, people, finally I'm binding off. And I am still binding off. It doesn't end. Oh my god. But it did end, and then I blocked it, and I'm so pleased with the effect. It's just ooh, ooh, ooh. So I got some comments from people that they did not think that these three colors could work well together, but yeah, I think they do. They really do look nice together, and I would encourage you to just go ahead and try combinations that you think are not really, well, what you would think would be good. Just put your yarns together and see whether they speak to you, and then you can do really cool stuff. So yeah, I forgot to mention at the opening of this episode, I wanted to remind you that we're having a Halloween / All Saints Day sale in our Etsy shop, Wolff&Schafe Etsy shop. The link is always in the video description. You can go there to check it out. We're having 20% of all yarns till November the 1st, so it's really a short time left, but maybe you would still want to use it, so go ahead. Tea. So yeah, this has been an adventure, definitely. It took me almost 3 months to complete. I cast on when it was the pattern was published, so it was August the 1st, and I finished just recently, so yeah. Woo! I'm so happy with it. So happy. I just will stay in it because yeah, I feel so good in it. Other than that, I've been knitting slowly on the socks for my mom. And here they are. Aren't they autumnal? So the yarn that I'm using is this yarn, Manos del Uruguay, Alegria. I always have problems with, I want to say Algeria for some weird reason. And the colorway is A8917. And it's a sock yarn, so it's 75% wool and 25% polyamide. Oh, they don't say whether it's superwash or not. I will have to tell it to my mom, but she can handle it. She can. So anyway, as I mentioned before, I wanted to give a teeny tiny bit of interest to the socks. And so I did. Oh, and I'm knitting on Haya Sharps 2.5mm needles, which is US size 1.5. 2 at a time, as usual. So it's plain vanilla with 3 stitches of seed stitch. Here and here, so on the opposite side. So she can decide whether she wants to have them like on the outside or on the inside, like, you know, here or here. And of course it's these are the fronts. It will be only on the fronts. The backs are just plain vanilla. And yeah, I think she will love these colors because she loves all those earthy oranges and browns and the rusty colors. So yeah. And it's very soft. This yarn is very soft. What else can I say? It's just, yeah, I've been knitting. Usually I've been knitting on these while watching Rick and Morty with my husband, because my friend really recommended this show to us, and at first I was not sure, and I will just tell you, it's not for everyone. It's really not, and you have to really get into the mood of that show, but for me it's brilliant. It's just, oh my goodness, it's just so mind-blowing. It's just fun, and we've already finished watching it, so this season 3 is over, and nobody knows when season 4 will be here. So yeah, but we had awesome fun. So these were my Rick and Morty socks. And yeah, I think this is it about them. I still have time till Christmas to complete them. I think it will be okay. And since I finished this, and I will just remove this, unfortunately, because I'm getting toasty again. Now let's put it here. Okay. So I finished with this one, so I could go back to my another big project. Well, it's not big yet, but it will be, hopefully. the Love's Promise cardigan by Agata Mackiewicz, who is also known as Amanita, or Amanita Knits on Instagram, I believe. And yeah, this is how much I have. This is, I realize it's not too much, but I'm loving how it's turning out. You can tell, I think you can tell, I like these colors, so it's a cardigan for me, because I appreciate my knits the most. And this is the yarn that I'm using. It's my hand-dyed yarn, Wolff&Schafe Moon, which is fingering weight 75% superwash merino and 25% mulberry silk in Dylan colorway. I love it. I love it. And I'm knitting on my Haya needles, 3.5 millimeters. These are fixed needles, and not Haya Sharps, the regular ones. And this is US size 4, I believe. I realized recently, I was talking to Paula, who's Polka Knits on Instagram, and I believe also on Ravelry. She's the designer behind Polka Knits. And yeah, we were like, yeah, 3.5 millimeter needles, they are just perfect. They do so many things. They are perfect for every project. Yay, I need more of them. So yeah, we agreed on that. So yeah, this is not much. This is a top-down cardigan, so I'm just increasing now. It will be a raglan cardigan, and that's all I can tell you about it at the moment. I have, however, for the first time, I think, in the history of my show, I have a crochet project to show you. Yeah, I know, it's shocking. I always complain how I don't go along with crochet, and how I can never make myself, I want to learn, but I really can never make myself do it. But I think I mentioned that I did want to cast on a granny stripe blanket, because they look so lovely and they seem yeah, it seems fast to make them. They seem fast to make, and also I love how they look like every stripe creates those shells, and so I was thinking, I'm always thinking I have this huge bag of leftovers of fingering weight yarn, because I knit mostly from fingering weight, I'd say, and I'm always thinking, I want to use it up. It's just lying there. And also, as I said, it's cold recently here, so I was thinking, oh, I want a blanket for myself. I want something comfy, and my Cozy Memories blanket, it will take forever to be completed. So yeah, finally, because I've been watching some tutorials on this on granny stripe blanket before, so I just found one of them, and I just started yesterday. Can you see that? I started yesterday. Honestly, this is super fast. Super duper fast. So yeah, let me do a close-up for you. So it will be more or less this wide. I decided for it to be like one person blanket for me, because I will appreciate it. And look, these are almost all of them are leftovers from my my projects. So this is from my Asagi top. This is from the cardigan, the little 3-colored cardigan that I like made up. It's from actually Kristen's yarn. It's Woolen Vine Yarns Narwhal in Myth colorway. This is from my Mira sweater, Malabrigo. This is from Wolf Woods shawl, my hand-dyed yarn. And only this one I did not use for any project before. This is Mulberry Cottage yarns. This is from my socks. It's again my hand-dyed yarn. And this one I use for the Buccaneer shawl. So all of them are, yeah, it's cozy memories, tapeworm for a moment, for this moment. But I realized at some point, some months ago, that I could really make a blue blanket, blue and teal, something like that, because I'm really drawn to these colors, and I could do that, but then I thought I would be totally bored with it because I need variety. So I thought I will just start with the blues and then I will see where it takes me. And for now I still am not finished with all the blues that I have. Actually, right now I'm using, where, zoom please. Again, my hand-dyed yarn from the shawl I knitted for my grandma. It's my Dew Base in Soul Society colorway. So yeah, and the hook that I'm using is, well, I don't remember what company it's made by, but it's just your regular metal, very smooth, 3.5 again. I have no idea what it is in the letters sizes, but yeah, it's just what I would use for fingering for a shawl, basically, if it was knitting needles. And yeah, I can't believe I made so much just yesterday, and it was not in the morning that I cast it on, it was like in the middle of the day. So I'm really hoping to do a lot of progress here. And I remember when Kristen was crocheting hers that it felt addictive, and it does. I call these clusters here shells, because they remind me of shells. So it's like, okay, one shell more, one shell more, one shell more, and then oh. I counted, I have like 71 of these clusters in a row. So, well, depending on the row, I guess. But yeah, it just flies. This just flies. Even Gleb was impressed when I showed him, like, what? Already so much? So this is my newest project, and I must tell you, I'm really smitten with how these colors look together. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. And if you're thinking about starting your crocheted stripe granny, what is it called? Granny stripe blanket? Just give it a go. And honestly, I did not count my chain when I started the chain. I did not count it. I was just measuring it on myself, whether it would be wide enough, and then what else? So you don't have to worry about that, like counting hundreds of stitches, because maybe it's not like, it won't be perfectly perfect, but then nobody will notice. So and yeah, it just makes me happy. And this is it for yarny stuff this week. And as for sewing, I have this little bag to show you. I think it's so cute. I think I've showed this fabric before, but yeah, I'm still on, as far as sewing goes, I'm still a string bag maker. There's some silver ribbon, and here I have fairies. Fairies. Oh, can you see them? They are cute. I think it's cute that they are inside here. So So yeah, that's all for sewing right now. I seriously am worrying whether I will ever finish my skirt. The one with the fans on it, the autumnal color skirt. I just completely don't feel like going back to this project. It's sad. It's really sad, but I don't want to force myself, really. So yeah, another thing, I mentioned before that I'm painting images for a deck of cards, and I have some to share with you. So I downsized because I talked to a friend online who is a card maker, and he suggested that I'm painting too big images, and when they are shrunk they won't look as good as I thought they would, because I know that the pictures look better shrunk because there's like more detail, and they look better basically. I know that when people make comic books, for example, they always make the pages bigger and then they shrink them because they look better. Anyway, I just went half of this paper sheet, and this is my Clover card. Isn't it cute? Clover, yeah. And then, because it's a fortune-telling deck, you have kind of some weird images like a coffin. It's very, very Halloweeny, right? So I made a coffin with a candle and smoke going here. And then I have a bear. Look, it's a bear. And the mountains. And I have just recently finished the moon card. Yeah, you can tell. It's the moon. Is it? Okay. I hope you can see it well. I love how this turned out, these clouds here. Oh my goodness, you can only do it with watercolor, really. And lastly, I got a ship. It's a ship, and it's modeled after a ship that actually is an existing ship that you can, it's being turned into a museum, and it's in Poland. It's called Dar Pomorza. So Polish folks out there will know what I'm talking about. I just changed the color of this part. Oh my goodness, what's it called in English? I don't know. But yeah, these are my cards that I've been making, and it would be it for crafty stuff. So if you're not interested in the what I've been up to outside crafting things, thank you so much for watching, and I hopefully see you again soon. And if you are, I will just tell you that we've been having a glorious October. I am still in awe. I cannot believe the weather is so good. I convinced my husband to take one day off. I checked the weather forecast, and it was just sunny with 0 clouds, and we went on a trip, just the two of us, and it was awesome. I mean, it was a bit hard because we went hiking, and yeah, I'm not a very sporty person, so but Gleb also got very tired. We climbed, like we went up and down as well. It took us like 3 hours total, I think, plus lunch. And it was beautiful. We went to Glarus, to a valley called Klöntal, and there's a lake down there. It's just beautiful. And as I mentioned before, last weekend it was it was the last weekend of this open air museum being opened because they closed for this season since it's open air, and we also had a great weather, so that was lovely. And yeah, there are so many things going on in my life that are not set yet, so I don't really want to talk about them, but just know that I have so many things going on, that I feel really like on a roller coaster. So yeah, fingers crossed it will clear up soon and I will just know where I'm going. But yeah, other than that, as I said, Rick and Morty, and we watched the like whole 3 seasons, and also just yesterday we watched Wonder Woman. And since people praised this movie so much, I think I had higher expectations, whilst it has been just your regular superhero movie. Nothing bad about it. There were some awesome things about it, but yeah, it was an okay movie for me. What do you think? Have you seen it? And maybe I missed something. And what else? Yeah, I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching. And where is my cat? Happy knitting, happy crafting, and we will see you next time. Bye! Yeah.
Wake up, darling glory. What makes you seem so sound? That revenue man, he's a coming. Don't tell, I'll steal house down. Dig a hole